Oh my god, you guys. I just realized something. I have never told you actually how I do my show. I've gone through some playlists with you guys, but I've never actually gone into detail about like the mechanics of doing a radio show. And I just uploaded the bio on my Podbean official, whatever it's called, for my podcast, the description of the show. And I put this great little line in the bio, and it says something. Oh, hold on. Get to the Roots Extras has expanded to include episodes containing light commentary, encouragement, and motivational speech for fellow artists, and radio/podcaster based humor, as well as a behind the scenes look at some of the aspects of maintaining Get to the Roots. Because I have. I've gone through 3 or 4 playlists, and I've just gone over them. I've promoted the artists. I've said why I like this song, and that is kind of a behind the scenes look of what goes into making the show every week for the local radio station, but it's by no means a behind the scenes look. Maybe I should change that to a behind the scenes listen at some of the aspects of maintaining Get to the Roots. That's not grammatically correct. Anyway, so, really quickly, I won't take up too much of your time today. I will tell you a little bit about how I make my show every week. I'll be honest about it, and I'll try not to scare anyone away with my overwhelming enthusiasm for doing a local radio show, which which is hard for me because I've been told I come on a little strong, but I swear to you, it's just the fact that I have high humor and a high hamness. I am such a ham. Just give me all of that attention. It is a problem. So, I think that making the show is really easy every week if you care about your listeners. B Meaning to say that you could say the show's really easy, just pick, like, 40 random songs and call it a day, but that might be easy, but that would be like, my soul couldn't handle doing something like that. I would feel like such a terrible person. And then in the past, I found the show to be really hard to do, and I was like, This can't be this hard, like, I have to do it every week. I don't know what the listening base is, like, I might have 4 people listening on Wednesdays, I might have 400, probably closer to 4, but that's okay, like, if I'm never gonna get more listeners if I just, like, slack off all the time, which, it's an urge, there's an urge to slack off at things in life. I think we all have that deep urge inside of us to just be lazy about stuff and get away with, like, being terrible people, but I've made a concerted effort to be, like, a better than bad person, like, not a good person, but just, like, not a bad person, so, if I'm gonna take on this commitment of doing this show every week, like, I wanna, like, actually, like, try and care about the people listening or the potential listeners, but also do it in a way that is fun and is easy and makes me smile. And I also get a great sense of accomplishment when the show is over, and, even if I don't even get to hear the whole thing every week, like, it's really nice just to, like, know that I did my best and I put it out there, but I also didn't, like, mutilate myself in the process or put so much work into it, because sometimes when you care about things, like, this happens to me a lot, like, when I care about something a lot, like, I get too attached to it and too involved and too emotional about it, and sometimes, like, I've taken things the wrong way, or I've said something and came out the wrong way, like, really, like, snooty about something, like, I know in the past, like, in a professional world and also the volunteering world, I've been really enthusiastic and passionate about things and very involved and detail-oriented, and sometimes, like, if you're detail-oriented and you're trying to convey some information that you might be enthusiastic about, like, even if you're making the most innocent statement, like, some people get offended. They think if you add too much detail to what you're saying or if you, like, get too into the nitty-gritty fast, they just feel like you're complaining about something. Oh my god, I'm, like, trying to watch my language this episode. This is crazy. Look at me trying to be a professional. Guys, I almost dropped the F-bomb just now, but and then followed by the B-bomb. But anyway, as I was saying, like, I understand that you have to have sort of a healthy attachment to the things that you love in your life, which might involve, like, detaching certain things to it, like the perfectionism trap. Like if you're really emotional and really involved in something, you can turn into like a perfectionist about it, and that can hurt you in the end too. So you want to be like measured and balanced when you care about something. So that is my approach to get to the roots. Like I really care about listeners. I try to do like fun things every once in a while, and I try to change it up but also be consistent like quality. Like there's a lot of really great local musicians in the database, and everyone that listens to folk music has slightly different tastes. And I won't even do shows sometimes that have like my favorite songs in the database in them. Like I'll do ones where I'm like, oh, like I haven't played this certain tempo of Americana song in a while. I haven't played this artist in a while, or make it even simpler. I haven't played any songs like this in a while. People like these songs too. I may not think that they're at the top of my list, but they're, like objectively good songs, good recordings, and by people that people know in this radio community of listeners and also musicians. So like I'm gonna play them. And it would be, like, really easy for me to just sit down and put, like, always my favorite songs in every week, but I don't do that either. So I go to the database and I find the music, and I pick, like, a theme or a flavor of the show. I used to do, like, little online teasers for them. I didn't get very much interaction then. I don't think that many of my posts were, like, as that satisfying to, like, the people that were just, like, aware of the way I was, like, trying to attract people to, like, interact. But it's fine, like, they did their jobs, and sometimes I would tell the theme. I always, like, go all out for, like, my holiday shows because they're fun, and I always try to, like, rotate the musicians that I use. Where was I going with this? I was talking about selecting tracks and picking a theme. So, picking a theme, like, it could be something that just I know, like, okay, like, the show's theme's gonna be this, or I'm gonna try to find songs related to this idea, or I could tell some facts in the beginning of the show and, like, relate it to that, or, like, sometimes I'll just do, like, little blocks, like, we have our fundraiser coming up at the radio station, so I thought really hard about, like, the best way to promote this, and in the past, I've, like, talked about the importance of donating, but this year I'm, like, a lot more people focused, so I made my drops that I did in between the songs. I just listed out the musicians that are gonna be playing at the fundraiser, because 'cause we're having like they're having like a 2-day, like, open mic on air, and then they're also doing, like, a special event, and, like, everybody knows, like, Mad Beach Band around here, and I think I'm pretty sure they're the ones doing the special event. Oh my god, it's not in front of me. I might be saying the wrong band, but anyway, the band that's doing that event's, like, pretty well known, but, like, the people that aren't as well known are a lot of people that I get to play on my show, so I was like, I should just, like, list the musicians. I've listened to so many radio shows in my life where they just list out the musicians playing, and even that's, like, could be the catalyst for someone, like, hearing the name clearly. And then so after I did those names, I would do a music block with some of the music from those musicians, and I wouldn't do, like, all of them, but I would do, like, maybe 4 or 5, and then that part of my show was fundraiser themed. And then, like, the rest of the show is just, like, okay, songs that sound good with those songs in a playlist, and, like, oh, how do they sound good? How do you know that? Well, I just listen to the songs while I'm making the show to make sure it's got a mix up, like a good feeling together. Like there's certain musicians where if you listen to one artist and then you listen to another artist right after that, their sounds are just so different that they sound like it just clashes. But then also if you do, made this mistake very early on. I did 3 songs by 3 different musicians that had the same style of music, the same tempos, and very similar singing voices, and so they all ran together and it sounded like one long, terrible song, and it was terrible because by the end of it, it felt so repetitive, even though it was actually 3 different songs by 3 different local acts. So, that's something to consider too, like, so when putting the playlist together, you have to make sure that they sound similar enough that they feel like they go together kind of, or you need to make sure that they don't clash, but they don't sound, like, too similar, like, switching up the genders of voices is good too, like, if you have, like, or just switching up the styles, but maybe just a little bit. Also, if there's, like, a playlist I'm really set on, but I'm, like, can't figure it out, like, "Oh, these songs, like, they keep clashing, and I don't know where to put them," like, that's a good place to have, like, an audio drop, so, like, make that part of the playlist where it clashes, or if it's gonna shift in tone. to, like, where the drop is, where I will say so a drop, for anyone not listening, for anyone not listening, that's everyone. For anyone still listening, which I hope you are if you're, like, considering, like, doing a radio show where it's, like, music-based and you pick from a catalog of songs, and then you also get to, like, make little announcements and do little other fun things too, and then you also, if you're lucky, like me, you get to do other things related to the radio on top of that, which was really fun. I really enjoyed the years I did get to do extra things. So okay, so what was I saying? So a drop, back to what I was saying, a drop. A drop is when you just like someone comes on and talks, and because it's local radio, so we don't have commercials, which is good, you know. Boo, money and commercials, boo. Yes, so it's when you just, like, record yourself, you know, doing the talking bits, and you could just announce songs, the ones that just played, the ones that are coming up, and then in there, you'll put some more information, like, for listeners, like, so my friend Nanners, who used to do Island Time, she would always look up what bands were playing where, and she would mention that in her show. She did, like, the trop rock, and, you know, trop rock is always playing around here for the most part, and that was really helpful, you know, and then she'd play a song by that person, you know, next, and it just made so much sense. It's just, you know, just a radio. If you grew up listening to radio, if you've ever heard radio, that's just like a normal practice. Let's see, what else can I tell you about making a show? Oh, okay, so there's something that we can't do at my radio station that I wish we could, just so I could be more like a 90s DJ or early 2000s DJ, because that would be amazing. So I think it's called Kicking the Post. And this is just a completely random fact, but it's just something like you can't do like at our station. It's when the announcer is talking and the song is like turning up in the background. So the next song will start to play, and like usually it has a non-lyric intro, and they'll just like get something in really quick and then turn up the song, and then you hear the rest of the song, and it's usually like a commercial or an announcement for tickets or something, and then you know, so and then like the musical block will start, and then you'll hear commercials, and then you hear your DJ talk again. So like we can't really kick the post in Radio St. Pete, but something I've done instead of that is because I get to record all of my stuff ahead of time. I do it in just like a really simple audio editor, and sometimes I'll put music behind me speaking, which is like not really like quickly getting this thing in, but other times like I'll pretend to like I'll play a portion of a song and I'll like interrupt it, like pretend like I put on like Lady Gaga or something by accident. I don't think I actually did that with Lady Gaga, but I did that a few times where like I pretended like, "Oh, I was doing something else. Oh, excuse me," just to be like a little funny bit. But it also is, like, kind of, like, in that radio entertainer fashion of just, like, "Ooh, you know, I'll just say this over top the song really fast," and that's just, like, something you do to, like, cram more content in there. Also, it's kind of fun too. Maybe people find it annoying. The reason why I know about what this even is because I listened to commentary by an actual DJ that has a YouTube channel, and he mentioned that Smash Mouth had that song All Star start directly with lyrics because they were so annoyed that radio DJs would talk over top of Walking on the Sun. And they took issue to that. So they were like, we're our next big hit, we're gonna like it's gonna be in Shrek, and then we're also going to start the lyrics immediately so stupid lowly radio announcers can't talk over top the beginning of it. Which, you know, I mean, I guess if you really love a song that could be annoying. I mean, I was back in the era of CDs, guys. Like, we are so far removed from that. Okay, so we can't kick the post or smack the pole or twerk the old man's cane or whatever it's actually called. I think it's called kicking the post at the local radio station, which is, you know, it's fine. People probably find it annoying. I probably only like it because I listen to the radio like right at the death of radio and right at the rise of online communication. So that's another thing I just wanna share real quick. Like, I loved listening to the radio in my hometown. I was very in a very non-transportation friendly part of the world where it just was cars or nothing, and if you couldn't go anywhere to be with, like, the rest of civilization, like, I couldn't even walk anywhere because it was so rural, but I was so close to a city, it was weird. It was, like, this area of the world where it's now suburbs, but when I grew up there, it was all farmland. So the radio was like, oh, it, like, connected me to, like, people that liked music and stuff, and, like, it just, like, oh, all this and then to find out about shows and things that were going on, and, like, it just felt, like, important to me as it, like, was, like, a connection to the world that was, like, more it was local, so it was more personal, but it wasn't, like, as dreary and depressing as the news, and it wasn't like the TV, wasn't personal. It was just, like, all TV shows, and then, like, the news was, like fiction and stuff, and then the news was and it's global, and then, like, or national, and then, like, the news is local, but, it's depressing, and then it's like, "Oh, you who can get on the news?" But the radio was like a friend, and the news is like, "Oh, look at it," like a teacher, I guess, like a teacher or like a principal or just some member of authority being like, "Oh, all this bad stuff happened." And so I really like it. So I'm really happy that I get to do this. Like it was something that I really wanted to do, but it's hard sometimes to keep going because it's like, "Oh, I wanna give," but once I get started, once I just, like, start listening to some songs, it, like, reawakens, like, my love of music, and I just start making a show, and then I'll just be like, "Oh, I should add this fun I should do this funny thing today," or maybe I'll just keep it about the music today, make a really good flow, like a good playlist, something that I think that I would wanna listen to if I was the listener or these other people would listen to if they were the listeners and would really enjoy it. And then it's just like and then it goes, and so I just go through the database and, like, I just listen and just stick stuff in, and I have 2 different hours, so if the first hour if part of it's not working with the first hour, I put that part, and that's, like, the basis for my second hour. I take them out, put them in, I look back at what I did the weeks before to make sure I'm not playing, like, the same songs every week, but the station, I mean, like, it's on 24/7, so and it's not a big station, so a lot of the same songs are gonna be playing, like, over and over again, so I used to, like, really be embarrassed if I played the same song 2 weeks in a row, but now if I make that mistake, so I'm like, "Oh, it happens, it's a good song." And then, I also just, like so that's, like, really the heart of it is just, like, making the playlist. I got a text message, and it's gonna beep again. Yeah, and then the drops, like, doing like, not we have these rules in public radio too. I actually made, like, a little sign for it for the station because I was like, "I'm gonna be so involved. I love you guys, like, let's help. Jay keeps saying we need a sign. I'm gonna make the best sign for him because I believe in his vision of a sign," but we can't say, like, the word free. Like, we can't say tickets are free or this event is free. We can say things like we can say, like, it's open to the public or come by the or you can't even say come by, but say it's open to the public or the event is located here, but we can't say like, "Go here, do this, think this, do that." We just have to say like, it is, like, just give the facts. And when we're not really supposed to have opinions, we can't be like, "Oh my god, this song is the best song in the universe," but we can say things like, I love this song. I really enjoy." You can make sure that you just say, like, it's just you love this, and you just can't go too overboard with it. You can't say a bunch of swear words. They're all listed on Wikipedia. It seems like some are missing at this point. We are subject to the FCC. We actually got, like, an update recently that I read just about public media broadcasting in general. I don't think it really applies much to me because I try to, like, just be chill about it and just follow the rules, and I'm not trying to, like, make folk music show my personal soapbox. I mean, obviously, that's what this podcast is for, guys, come on. But it's just, it's really just, like, important professionalism stuff, a lot of common sense stuff, and if I mess up on it, I feel like if I were to mess up doing my show for on the radio, I would, like, be so out of my mind, I would deserve it because it's so hard to mess it up. Like, you'd have to just have a complete and total just, like, shift of reality, just going nuts on there or something. I don't see myself doing that. Like, so if I were to, like, break some rule in that thing, like, I think it's, like, a long shot. Like, not to say I'm not an idiot sometimes, but, like, come on, like, there's clear rules and, like, not to get, like, super political because it's a local radio station, just you just gotta think of your listener, if the listeners wouldn't be cool with that, like, you're not gonna make those mistakes, I don't feel, at least not from my point of view, but who knows? We'll see. I mean, I could be eating these words tomorrow or after next Wednesday. We shall see, depending on when things happen. Yep, so each hour is So I have 2 hours. I do, like, 3 to 5, and so each hour I just, like, make and a lot of times I try to, like, make them both feel like they fit together mostly, but sometimes both each hour has, like, a different feel. I try to talk, like, enough, but, like, not too much, and then I will do, like, my interviews later archived on the podcast channel. That's the whole reason I started this podcast was just to archive those interviews because like, they couldn't really archive them at Radio St. Pete. I don't know why. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there, and, like, I felt like mine, like, really contributed, but they might just be too long. Like, I interviewed some people for, like, 40 minutes because I like to talk deep. I'm like, "Let's talk about stuff that matters." Like, we'll talk about the people that helped you, like, give their names. Like, a lot of the people I interview, like, wanna give, like, credit to their people. Like, Lisa Lytle's coming back on, and she's trying to bring her producer. Like, she's, like, trying to get him out there too, and so, like, mention the names, like, get into the nitty-gritty. Don't say free. Like, I always tell everyone, I'm like, "Don't say free, don't swear, and don't say come on down." And then I had some people come to me, and I wanted them to feel supported, and I'm like, "Alright, the station's not gonna do anything for you guys. I know you're trying to get the word out, but, like, it's just it doesn't have that, like, power, I guess. Like, you need to be on the news. Like, you don't need to talk to me." Like, and I tried to get them on another person's show because 'cause I'm like, "Well, this person has, like, a listener base. I don't really. I mean, I'm Wednesdays 3 to 5, but I'll totally have some interviews on there, but it's not gonna help you." Like, I feel like the people that come on my show, they're helping me make this show more legitimate. It's not the other way around. I wish it was like we were both, like, super legitimate already, and it was just like, "Arr," but it's not like that. Like, most of these musicians are only on because they're my friends, and I only know them through the radio station, and I care about them so much, but it's not like a professional thing. It's not like getting on Get to the Roots is gonna, like, make your career, and some of these people are coming to me like that was a thing, and I'm like, "No, guys, I wish it was that. Like, I want that for you. Like, I want you to succeed. Like, I believe in your goodness," and it's just it hurts, so I was like, "Man, I need a place at least where like, it's online, like, it's out there in the world, and it can be, like, one little check mark on someone's resume. Like, I was recently doing well, not recently, I think it was last year at this point, but my songwriting buddy, Jerome, and we did his bio for Wikipedia, and so he's got all these so Jerome, his name's Jerome Savoy, I talk about him all the time. Crazy Grandpa is his American, like, stage name, I guess, but like, he's done so much in his career, and it's just like tick, 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 and so, when you're trying to be known, which is a thing for artists out there, like, unfortunately, it's an old ideal, but it's a sound ideal, you have to be known, and they just need to have as much exposure, as much they need to be, like, shown, like, found, shown out there. Their work and their words they need to be available, like, as much as possible. Like, people need to be exposed to them any way possible, and if it can't be some national thing, it's gotta be, like, a bunch of little stuff, and it's gotta be, like, loads and loads of it. You gotta do the circuit, you know? And I'm not a stop on the podcast circuit. Not yet, just kidding. I'm not on this I'm not gonna be a stop on the podcast circuit, but I can be a little tick mark. I can be, like, part of them getting out there and spreading the word and getting their message out there, and part of that in this modern world is to have, like, the link back to it to show, "Yes, in 2024, I was on the radio and I talked about this and blah, blah, blah," you know? So, I mean, I wanna be successful in the radio business. No, it's all volunteer, but in the podcast part of the radio stuff, just to, like, continue to help those people that have helped me by coming on, but also, like and then we all helping each other get out there more, and I want them to be lifted, and I just the people that are my friends and that take the time to talk to me and that I get to broadcast their words to listeners, it's, like, important to me, like, that they get, like, rewarded or repaid or just that helps them, so I like to be a little tick mark on there, like, "Oh," and people can tune in and hear their, like, friend's voice on the radio, or a complete stranger can find about, like, what thing that they're doing. It's a beautiful thing, and so, like, radio is so cool, like, you never know who's listening, and I loved it so much when I was younger. I mean, I love music too. Like, when I started, helping out in the Florida Folk Show, like, folk music was a big part of, like, my high school years because I had a really good friend that played fiddle, and her whole family, and I'm not just talking like nuclear family, like her whole extended family were like all musicians and they played folk music, and then she would play CDs of folk music when we hung out, and I really liked it, and we saw some live folk shows, and I saw some live folk stuff with her family, and it was so welcoming, and it was just such a beautiful, wonderful time in my life, so I'm really grateful to be able to do folk music, and I mean, since I was exposed to it by that friend, like, I also sought it out myself. I also went to school with, like, a bunch of other musicians because I went to a really competitive school with a lot of very talented people in the rural country, and so a lot of them were really good musicians too, and a lot of them played, like, American folk music. It was really freaking cool, and I have no musical aptitude whatsoever. So I've always been like, "Yes, I love that." I cannot do that. I tried. I can play guitar terribly. I should never do it again. Like, it's just so bad. And I don't love it, but I do love listening to other people do it, and it's so cool that I get to do that. That's just, like, one part of, like, a very, like, multi-layered history of just, like, loving things to do with radio in general. Like, as I said earlier, it was, like, my connection to the outside world, and I didn't just listen to folk music on that. I listened to all the top 40 stuff and I just listened to all of it. It was great. Top 40 and then, like, the indie stations that came out later were just, ugh, they were just peak in my opinion. So the fact that I kinda get to continue that tradition is awesome. Also, the last motivation I have for this is one time, a long time ago, I knew a DJ for a small local station, and he said that I could never do the radio DJ thing. So I have that massive spite energy to this day. I don't even think this jerk remembers saying that, but I have that spite energy that's gonna keep me showing up every week. So I will continue to show up to make a little playlist an hour long and then another little playlist an hour long of, like, great music, and I will even record myself talking in there saying jokes and trying my best to be entertaining, fueled by spite for how dare someone say something like that to me. Like, I can't host a radio show, like, there's a lot of things I can't do. I can't be an astronaut, I can't be a brain surgeon, I can't be happy, no, I can't do so many things, but I can totally do this DJ thing, man, and have fun with it too. So those are my motivations and like my joy of getting to the roots. And then I'm having a lot of fun talking to you all on the podcast as well. I do a lot of weird jokey things and I'm sure it's coming off absolutely perfect and nobody is misunderstanding anything. And I'm sure like I'm coming off just great. Yeah, no confidence in that whatsoever. It's fine. It is what it is. So that is like how I make my radio show. I pick a vibe or a theme. I make a little playlist. I record myself talking. I like say little jokes. I always follow the rules and then I come back again and I do it next week. Also, something to mention, like you have to have your station ID for public radio. So I have that recorded already. That's just in there. It sounds nice. It's like part of my intro at this point, but it serves its purpose. And then I don't like mess it up. I used to record it separately every week. In one week, I accidentally put like hour twos in twice, and I never did hour ones. And luckily, it had the station ID in it, but I felt like such an idiot because I swear I had hour one and hour one and hour two and hour two. But somehow it got messed up in there, and it might have just been, like, the website that we used to make all this to access the database and to, like, make all this stuff, like, glitching, but I doubt it, but I don't know how that happened, and it made me so mad, and I was like I overreacted. I was like, "Wait a second, I just should make it easy, like, make the annoying parts easy." Like, it is annoying and hard to say the station ID every single time, like, I have to see it written down, and now I don't have to remember it. Unless, like, and then if I need to remember it, I can find out what it is, but it's like, "Okay, thank goodness." So that's a little different from being, like, live on air all the time, like a real DJ, like, getting paid for this or whatever. And, honestly, like, I don't know, I feel like I have that energy, like, I will be so funny and entertaining, but also a big weirdo, and also, like, totally, like, small time and never big time, like, that's, like, totally my energy. I'm such a like, I'm not like a person. I'm like down to earth type of person. I'm never like gonna be a big star and I don't But so many people walk around these days acting like they're, like, famous or they're going to be famous or, like, anything in life matters, and it's just like, "No. No. No. No, no, no. No." So, like, it's, like, a good thing for my personality is all I'm trying to say is, like, would that job would have been great for me. God, that would be, like, my dream job. One of them. But it's not a job anymore. Like, I'm sure there are still people out there doing it, but it's just like, that's not feasible. Like, we're not in the '90s and 2000s anymore. It's not a big thing. The newspaper, everything, like, online has eaten everything, and now everything is online, and it's like, if it's not online, it's like, what is it? It's such a weird thing to see how the internet's taken over so much of this world. It's a great thing. It keeps people connected, but it's also, like, killed off stuff, and then, I don't know, it just seems like jobs are it's like you have to be, like, self-employed anymore just to, like, do anything cool, and then it's like, "Oh, I used to be able to make money doing this, like, cool thing." Now it's like, "No." I don't know, maybe that's just, like, the millennial apathy talking, but, everyone we all know a lot of jobs has gone away. A lot of jobs has gone away. If you look in the this was a big thing a couple years ago, something about if you're looking at people, like, trying to apply for unemployment, some of the jobs listed were, like, I don't know, like rope maker or just things like there's just certain jobs that are done by machine now and just certain jobs that don't exist, and not everything has been updated to reflect that in society, including our thinking, and some of the data is just not present and in the forefront, but it is what it is. Okay, so I'm gonna stop rambling now. That is how I make my show. I hope it clears things up. I hope this gives you, like, a really deep behind the scenes look of, like, the philosophy of creating a radio show intertwined with the mechanics of it, so, like and then I hope that you laughed at the jokes. Have a great day or evening. Goodbye. How do I turn this off?